This is Adriana Yedidsion.
And this is Bianca Fields.
And you're watching the Jessica Fury podcast.
Tune in every single Monday if you'd like to see more.
And don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up.
Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Adriana Yedidsion. She is a real estate agent in Los Angeles and San Diego. And we have Bianca Fields. She is a real estate agent in London, New York, and LA. Ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, we're going to just stop for a second. Was getting ready, preparing for these ladies who are virgins to podcasting. And I find out that they have beautiful singing voices.
Oh my God, you didn't do it.
So,
I can't believe you did this to us.
I mean, I was on my run this morning listening to Christmas music. So, I'm going to give you about a few minutes. You can sing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it'll relax you. It'll calm you.
This is Bianca's dream. She's
I know,
been
sing
waiting
whatever
for
you
someone
want.
to
Whatever
ask
you
them
want.
to serenade.
Whatever
You're
you
going to
want.
actually just put us on the spot like
Yes,
this?
of course.
That's really awkward.
I'll let you do the honors.
Can you stop?
I'm good. You go for it.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song in the whole world?
Make it jazzy, make it soul-y.
Pick a hard one.
No, because people would make fun of me if I told them what my favorite song is. My favorite song is American Pie by Don McLean. I like John Lennon, anything by John Lennon.
John Lennon.
And I like Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley. So it's like, these aren't like favorite songs.
Yeah.
Adriana is amazing. Amazing at those songs.
Wait, so
Imagine all. Nah, you got
Yeah, do it.
No.
come on. It's okay. You know what?
Real estate podcast. I was tricked.
No, it's okay.
So you did this to
You know
yourself.
what? I am going to start with Bianca, and you're going to sing at me later. So you're from London.
Yes.
When did you come to LA? And I know that you do business in other parts of, you do it in London and New York and LA. So when did you come over to LA from London?
You know, I've had a relationship with LA for about 10 years. So, you know, this first holiday I went on, the first vacation I went on, I started building my sphere. But officially, maybe around 2.5 years ago, I started in London. And then I spent about 6.5 years in New York. And then LA was always where I wanted to be.
Where did you grow up in London?
Totteridge, northwest London. Yes.
What was your childhood like when you were a kid?
Oh, wow. We're getting deep. It was beautiful. I grew up in the suburbs, my mum and dad, my brother James. And, you wake up in the morning, you see horses around, like walking around the block. And I loved it. I had a beautiful childhood. My father was a developer in London, so kind of thrown in on a young age. And that was what really inspired me.
So your dad did development in London?
Yeah.
And how did it inspire you? Was it at such a young age that you were inspired by your dad, or was it something in business that you were inspired by?
I mean, my dad, came from, humble beginnings, and he always taught me to not ever accept the word no for an answer. And I think that's definitely, Adriana's looking at me like, oh yeah, I know. Yeah. But I have my father to thank for that. And he always said, you can do anything you want in life. And being in LA was one of them. And selling real estate out in LA was one of them. And that's always stayed with me, just to never take no as an answer. And if you want to do something in life, you can go and do it. The only person stopping you is yourself. So that always landed and stayed with me.
But you started in London.
Started in London.
That's amazing. And who started it first? Did your dad say to you like, hey, you should do real estate? Or was it something that you were like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, my dad has built this life for us, and this is the path that I'm going to take. What was that?
Well, my dad always wanted me in real estate, and I was the one that put my foot down. And actually, I said no. Like, and I got my degree. I've got a bachelor's degree in PR and marketing. And when I was in London, I actually helped launch restaurants into Europe, and I did all of that. And then I found myself speaking with the landlords of these restaurants, where they were asking me, okay, where should I launch my next restaurant? And I kind of got into property that way. And my father said to me, Bianca, honestly, you're working your butt off. Perhaps you should consider real estate. And did the cliche thing. And he played $1 Million Listing to me. And he said, you've got the personality for it, but I don't want you going to America until you've had a taste of it in London. And his honest words were, they'll eat you alive out there. And he was probably right. So I got my experience in London, and I took it as advice.
I think that's amazing. And
Yeah.
Adriana, so you grew up with a family that your parents did real estate, your dad did real estate. You come from a family of real estate agents, right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we have quite a similar story, which I feel like Bianca and I are very aligned in many ways, this being one of them. So my grandfather was in real estate in Iran. My father was in real estate in New York. So I grew up in Great Neck, moved to San Diego, La Jolla. He started doing development over there. I wasn't like that into it at first. I kind of didn't even know what real estate was. I was like, I don't know what my parents are doing every day, but seems to be doing well for them. My mom was in it too. So like my journey started in television and film. So I went into film school. I went into the news. I moved to LA for NBC Universal initially. And I started to realize that like I love television, film, but there's something that I don't feel is fully in alignment. And so I started studying real estate a little bit, and I thought this is a good path for me. And what's funny is I actually door knocked brokerages to get into real estate. So I went from brokerage to brokerage and said, I want a mentor. And I met someone who mentored me, guided me along the way, and here we are today with Bianca, and I feel like I've really found my partner in crime.
Who was the mentor that took you on?
So her name is Farideh Bogari, actually, and she really put me into shape to get me to where I am today.
And what does that look like? What were some of the things?
It's funny because Bianca reminds me a little bit daily about that whole journey. So she would basically tell me like, okay, here are all the contracts. I want you to go through and read every single one, take notes, come back to me with questions. And so I studied and learned all the contracts. She told me one day, she was like, do you know the LA market? Do you know where you are? And I was like, yeah, of course. She's like, I want you to go drive around and learn every single street in this neighborhood. I want you to study every single street and come back to me when you're done. Or she would say, here is how you put together an MLS listing. And then I would do it once and she would say, okay, now you're going to do it every time. And she would check. So she put me through every single step of being where I am today by training me to a tough degree until I was really good at it.
I love that because I've spoken about this several times on different podcasts and with several people, because when you come into the business now, I don't know how it was when you came into the business, there is not proper mentorship. It's somebody who's actually willing to invest their time, because their time is before their experience. It's their time. Like, because if they're agents that you admire, you mentor them, it's their time that they're taking. It's more than the 50% cut that you're getting for somebody who's a mentor.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing that I sort of have moved past it is that I've had conversations with people that my mentors have become from the relationships that I've become friends with people that have businesses, and they say, call me anytime. And I call them with very specific things because I'm intentional with people's time, very intentional, and I'm very specific. And I've learned that from other people in the business. I've also learned that through like other podcasters with entrepreneurs, that they're like, if you want to talk to somebody who's doing more business with you, have direct questions. Don't say, I need help with this. Have direct questions that you want to ask. Know half the thing that you're asking, like know half the answer you may be getting to get more of what you want to hear, and respect their time. Yeah. If they don't have the time, don't take it personal, but you can follow up with some sort of space. And I think that's cool that you were able to get that experience from that woman. And you're still in touch with her?
I mean, she's gone off. She's doing some really big things. When I first met her, I just knew right away. Like, I went into every single brokerage. I walked into Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, Sotheby's, Hilton and Highland, Douglas Elliman, every single one. And when I saw her, I was like, this is the person. And so, she's doing some big things. But the lessons she taught me were invaluable. And I gave her a lot when it came to marketing, so that was kind of the trade-off. Me knowing TV film, I was able to like help her in that way. But when it comes to real estate, she taught me the details that you just don't learn in school. And
what is a lesson that comes up in your business now that you're like, like, you know how you just think of someone?
Yeah.
And what is a lesson that you could just think of like right now? You're like, that's it. It shows up for me.
like a lesson? Well, I think the contract is a big one. Like on a
And now they
day-to-day-
changed it.
Expert contractor.
Yeah, but
she's
even-
she keeps me out of trouble. This one, literally.
I'm our
Like,
compliance department.
it would be
yeah.
a very big problem.
I love it.
I think like the contracts and negotiations is a big one too. Like she was an expert negotiator and she did it in such an elegant, tasteful way. And so I think that watching her and her mannerisms and the way she handled clients and the way she handled herself, and she was so experienced. She was on $1 Million Listing actually for a few episodes because she's so entertaining, but she very much carried herself with this grace and elegance and professionalism. And just watching her and being around her was like a huge gift for me. And I think I see it in our day-to-day business.
You know, being a woman in this business, it's different.
Yeah.
Because you come from, you know, beauty, attractiveness,
I'm
and
gonna pay you later for that.
you know, there's like this sort of organic sex appeal that somebody may or may not have. But, you know, for the most part, let's just say that women have it. And, you know, we can watch Selling Sunset and I'll just be in a tiny skirt tomorrow trying to go for a listing appointment, but that's not necessarily going to happen. And that doesn't
do that.
What?
Don't do that.
I will end with a husband and a diamond ring. So the one thing that I heard from you is when you were saying elegance and poise. And as women in the business, it's like that has to come first. Like you almost have to, I was talking to Gina about this, you know, because she works with her partner is a guy. Now both of you guys are partners and you're both women. And how is it that you take being a beautiful woman?
Oh,
It's just, you know, for what it is, you know, but there's so many people that listen to the podcast and they may want to get in the business or maybe they want to succeed as a woman in their business. So it's like, but they're like, I'm just attractive woman. Like, how can I continue to step into my power energetically as a woman and still show up with beauty and grace and poise? And what does that look like for you guys in your business now? And I'll start with Bianca.
I completely hear you with that question. It is difficult. First of all, you know, if you're going to get started anyway, know absolutely all your facts. Know the neighborhood, dissect it. Just pick one neighborhood, become an absolute master at it. And yes, I have been in a partnership before where, because of that reason, I had a male partner, so I would feel safe. You know, at the end of the day, you've got to be careful. You know, you do have to be careful, realistically, and it's sad. You have to. Not everyone has the best of intentions, and you could be going in, meeting someone, being really excited. Okay, that person's developing this house and that house, and you can know all the facts and all of the figures. And yes, if you don't have that experience, piggyback with someone that does. That is a safety for you, and B, it shows whoever you're about to meet that, you know, it gives a different impression compared to a new person that is really, like, you know, when you first get started, you're really excited and, oh my God, you've got this listing appointment, and people will feed off that energy. So I started personally by going with someone that was a bit more experienced than me, had a name. I knew everything anyway. I knew all my facts and figures, but just that they were there helped. It set a tone. And then eventually Adriana and I found one another, and which was wonderful. Really, really great. And now we just piggyback off each other.
Yeah.
And that's great too, because we know we've got each other's back. And we have, you know, we can enjoy and be ourselves with that client, knowing that we're together, and that's quite comfort.
But I love that, and you know, because I would see you, Bianca, first in the company, and you were just always on the phone. But you were just, it was always just you. Just being on the phone, but by yourself.
Yeah.
Was there something that, like, you just, a turn that you were like, I want to do this with someone else? Like, it would be great if I can connect with somebody else and we could do the business together. Like, what was it that sort of like turned that corner for you?
You know, when I was in New York for 6 years doing this alone, and I naturally ended up having people around me, and they helped me as a team. But when I went to LA, you know, I had a partner, and then I went into a team. And I learned a lot from them, but I was so used to being on the phones, you know, cold calling everyone in the book, writing letters to buyers. And there was this one day where I managed to get through to someone, and I got this you know, this listing, and Adriana was with me, and I said, you know what, Adriana, I don't have a signed listing agreement at the moment. God knows who he's watching. I don't have a signed listing agreement at the moment, but screw it, do you want to come with me, just invite all the neighbours and let's just see what can happen. And this was, you know, we're skipping the story of how we met, but like we basically both gave Mauricio Umansky, thanks by the way, no choice but to completely hire Adriana. So off we go, door knocking. And I said, you know what, if we get something together, we get a new client, brilliant, we'll go half off, right? Lo and behold, Adriana and I end up door knocking the same house, amateurs, which both new at the game, in the Hollywood Hills. And it just turned out, so that guy turned up at the house. We did a massive open house, and he ended up having 4 houses that he'd built in the Hollywood Hills.
This is within 1 hour of working together.
1 hour of working together. We met him on the intercom. We literally we door knocked him.
And he's now one of our really good friends.
Yeah,
it's great.
And he has become such a light in our lives. And
Yeah,
it's crazy
he's
that
adorable.
like
we love you, Bob.
Yeah, we love him. So
Yeah.
just in that 1 hour of
Bob.
being together.
His name is
yeah,
Bob.
yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
Shout out to Bob B.
I think that's great.
It honestly, it was meant to be.
It was very organic.
I think, our journeys were meant to intertwine at the timing that they did. And there's something spiritual in that too, which is exciting.
I love it.
Yeah.
If there's something spiritual underlining, I'll take it. Wait, but so you guys door knock.
So we do.
What's the strategy that you guys have with door knocking, Adriana?
I think that's one of many things we do. I think our goal is not necessarily like to door knock. I think the idea is more like, okay, we've been very blessed that like it's always generally started with a listing. So that one day we had that listing, though it wasn't really a listing that
It was a
assigned.
blessing. It was a blessing. It was a blessing that we had that.
Together, we've always started with a listing. And when we get a listing, our idea is we're going to do everything it takes to sell this listing for the client, who at the end of the day, our clients become like our really good friends and family. So we're doing it for them and for us, but for them, and we get excited. So for us, it's not really like we're door knocking. It's more like we're doing everything beyond the MLS. So we'll post it to the MLS. We'll take amazing photos. We'll stage it nicely. We'll do all of the basic stuff that's normal, like email blast, social media. But for us, it becomes an experience, and we want to bring people into the home, and we want to share it and make it an inviting, welcoming experience. So we're inviting the neighborhood to come see the property and to have food and drink with us, and we'll theme it every time. So it becomes like an exciting thing. So the door knocking is more just us inviting the neighborhood to come to the house and to see it.
So if somebody's listening and maybe they're newer in the business, or they're, trying to have like different strategies to pick up business and they are door knocking, what are some of the things that you guys apply when you're door knocking to pick up business?
I think that it's more about the intention. So I think like we don't come at it again with like this wanting to take people's business and wanting to sell them. It's more like we get so excited. We're very like social, and we get so excited when we're meeting new people. So like, let's say we do go to a neighbor and we're inviting them. Somehow like we just connect with them and we get excited, and just through that relationship that builds over time, they naturally become a client. So I think it's not necessarily that we're going out for business. It's more that like we're going out to make connections, to invite them, to introduce ourselves, to build that relationship, and we naturally get excited, and they naturally become a friend of ours, and naturally they ask us like, hey, will you list my house? Because they know that we're professional, they know we know what we're doing, we're very known in the neighborhood. So it kind of is a flow. It's not really like we're trying to pull business.
And I think it's more of like this, it's not like a desperate energy.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going in there, because most people know if you're knocking on someone's door, if you're in real estate, that you want the business.
Right.
Like we flick the switch. We invite them to an experience.
So so it's like one of the things that you guys are being humble right now. I mean, so they get these listings and from door knocking, and they create almost like a neighborhood party that they want you to come. But the reason that they want you to come is because, and I'm going to use Bianca on this, there's something so spectacular about this house that you have to see. It has the lights and the natural lighting.
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, wow, I have to see this.
Yeah.
But then there's something that, like, you get something from going. You get croissants or green juices or juices or this or drinks.
Someone's been.
And the thing is like,
Exemption.
I'm such an observer to the industry of
I love
everything
that you
that
know
everybody's
about it as
doing.
well.
I'm like, I'm going to do this and I do that. And like, I have like ideas of like different
Good.
listing. Like I have ideas for like different listing videos, and I'm not reinventing the wheel, but I'm just like, I'm just kind of going to go for it.
Yeah.
I guess
Do
I'm
it.
going to be that person.
Do it.
I'm just going to be that woman. But I love that you guys do that. And I actually want to ask you about a specific thing that you guys told me about. So you guys had a 10-day listing agreement.
Yes.
Can you please talk about this? Like what?
Oh,
You had a
yeah.
10-day
Yeah.
listing agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look,
So hold on. So normally listing agreements can be 90 days, 6 months.
Usually
so,
6 months.
Yes. So
Usually 6 months for, and usually, again, it doesn't take 6 months to sell a property,
Right.
but a lot of the times the standard listing agreement is 6 months, and you never know. Sometimes sellers price too high. We try to obviously make sure that they price it right from the get-go so we could sell the house properly for them. But yeah, usually 6 months. But this particular circumstance, we had such certainty, Jessica, such certainty with this particular house. It's such a unique property. It's so beautiful. It's so different. It's lush. It's green. It's gardens. It's both nature. It had this French cottage theme, and Bianca and I knew. We just knew we could sell it. We're like, we
Yeah.
don't need more than the 10 days.
So with that, I think you get an intuition. Look, this business is all about people. And yes, a house can be beautiful. There are so many beautiful houses in LA, and I think if something is priced right and the pictures are
Yes.
beautiful, in general, that house is going to sell itself. However, there was just, I think for us, it's more about people and building relationships with people. And there was just something about this particular client that we trusted, and we really trusted him. And he said, look, he was on the fence. He was originally, renting, and this is how it always happens with us. And then he kind of put it on himself, and then we just kept tapping. How's it going? How's it going?
Yeah,
He's probably watching this right now.
I know.
the money's in the follow-up.
We were nicely annoying. Sorry,
We love him. Honestly, we
you're
love
the
him.
best.
We love him.
and he has exquisite taste. I mean,
does.
this house was very special. It was
Yeah.
like walking into Provence, gorgeous. Like you walk down these beautiful stairs, and there was this wonderful waterfall pool as you entered this beautiful cottage, and it was a very magical garden, and it was so special. Like even walking it, the pictures just didn't translate, and we just knew if we had this, that we knew what we were going to do with it. But he said, look, it's a very special house to me.
Yeah.
It is, when someone is selling or buying a home, it is one of their biggest emotional financial investments.
100%.
It was a very special home to him, and he wanted to feel comfortable with us. But he said to us, Bianca and Adriana, let's just see how we get on. He goes, I'm not going to, he seemed like a very honest guy, which he is. I'm not going to do you wrong. If we get on well and we work well together, let's see where this goes. And there was just something inside. It was a gut instinct with him as a person. We're going to trust it.
At first, though, he did tell us, he's like, I'm not listing this with anyone.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He said, I'm a broker. I'm not listing this
I'm
with
not listing
anyone.
this.
And he was very firm.
He was very firm.
But by the end of that conversation, we said, look, give us this 10 days where the house is available. We were
I think
so
it was
certain.
Airbnb-ing it in
We
between
knew.
as well.
Yeah.
What was
in
that?
between this 10-day listing, he was Airbnb-ing it as well.
Oh.
So
We're 10 days.
Yeah, we knew. We were like, for some reason, and this is not with every house. Again, we knew that there was something about this house that we could bring to it. We knew we could bring something special to it. And we dress with the house.
We do.
We should talk about this.
But wait, I think we should tell them that I literally just got off a plane with from London. Adriana had organised just before we got the listing agreement signed, and then I flew from London. Adriana had the videographer, everything set up.
Oh,
We did a big video shoot on this house. We dressed in like these beautiful dresses to the house, and we put French music on, and we were like, we are going to create France in this house in 10 days. I think on the first 2 open houses we did, there were like, 20 people that turned
20
up?
groups.
20 groups.
At least.
But prior to that, we door knocked all of the neighbours and let them know about the house before we went on the MLS.
Yeah.
And actually, just before our first open house, one of them bought like their family member or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, you asked before, what is it that we do differently? I think there's 3 different things that we do. It's before it goes on the market, so it's a coming soon, and all the neighbours know about it before it goes on the market.
We build excitement around it because we're so excited.
We get so excited. So we're building this hype, and all the neighbours know about it. And that a lot of the time, especially in the Hollywood Hills, it suffers a lot with people Airbnb-ing. And people want good neighbours around them. So if let's say the house isn't for them, perhaps they want a friend to live right by them in the neighbourhood. And that's kind of our approach when we're door knocking. It's a very organic, holistic approach where we're not. We're just. It's kind of like we're not even realtors. We're like, we could be your neighbour. Like, oh, by the way, launching this. Heads up, you know, we'd love to invite you. We're going to be doing green juice in the gardens or whatever. We'd love to invite you. If you've got any friends and it isn't for you, maybe there's a friend of yours that you want in the neighbourhood. So that's the before it goes on the market. Then there's the coming soon. That's on the MLS. We're part of Top Agent Network, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
That really helps before something goes on the market. All the best agents, they know about it already.
On
TAN, Top Agent Network.
Yeah.
So we put it on there, and then we go active on a certain day, maybe on a Thursday, because we know that works best.
Yeah.
And we're really meant to get. She's going to kill me. She's like, you're giving away all the secrets. And then
Honestly, it's fine.
I know I'm
at this
dead
point.
anyway.
Wouldn't you want to listen to a podcast of something that you wanted to grow your business and get a secret out of it and be like, I'm going to apply that to my business?
You know what? And everyone should do well. There's
Yeah.
enough business to go around.
For sure.
Why
And
not?
I
Yeah,
love when
definitely.
I listen to different podcasts and they're like, wow. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
That's
like,
really
I love that.
You're inviting the neighbours to have fun.
Listening to your podcast.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
Put
great.
it out there. Yeah, we've been
I
listening to it, and like I think your episodes have brought us so much value, and
Wow,
it's interesting
thank
because
you.
a lot of them are our colleagues, and we're like, oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know that about that person.
Yeah.
And in many ways, we have certain similarities in journeys to a lot of them. Obviously, everyone has a different upbringing, perhaps, but we found that like, as a tribe at the agency, we all are rising together because it's so collaborative there.
Very collaborative.
And for example, what we're doing with like our open houses and our soirees and whatever we're doing, we've not only shared that and seen other people do that, but we take pieces from what other people do, and that's why as a company we're doing so well. It's because we're all growing together.
Yeah.
Like we'll see an email blast and we're like, oh, that's
So
a good
launching
one, you know?
launching on a Thursday.
I think launching on a Thursday is great. Gives people enough time for the weekend
Yeah.
to
Or a
plan.
Wednesday.
Or
I went-
Wednesdays.
I did
Wednesdays
a-
all right. Not bad. I like Thursday.
I
more.
did a listing appointment with an agent with our company last week. And I'm sharing this because people listen to this because they're real estate agents, or there are people in business, or there's something that they can apply, something that they're getting through us carrying a message, you know? So I went with this agent, you know, he's been in the business for a long time, and he tells the guy right away, this is not a home for a developer. And he was like really honest. He was honest. Like, that's the thing. He was honest. He wasn't there for the deal. He wasn't there for the sale. Like, he was just there for the person.
Yeah.
And he was like, if I were to list this, I would list this between February and right before the beginning of the summer, because those are the hottest months
Okay.
to buy and sell homes. People
Okay.
that are buying homes in December are getting a deal. You want a deal, buy a home in December. And he was explaining it to this buyer to this seller, why December is the time of year where you need a deal, because it's like the 5 Ds: divorce, diapers, debt, diamonds, and the 5th D.
Divorce, death.
Divorce, death. That's it. Thank you. It was death.
Death.
It's divorce.
so
divorce.
glamorous.
So the 5 Ds,
Yeah.
why people sell immediately: divorce, death, diapers, debt,
Yeah.
and diamonds.
Wow,
Diamond.
Well, if we're getting married, I want a beautiful home. Come on
I
now.
see. Marriage.
If we're about to have a baby, diapers, death, debt, and divorce.
That's interesting.
It's
Yeah.
true. You're walking into different stages of people's lives.
Different stages of people's lives. But so I'm going to tell you guys a story that you guys do. And I love that people do this. So I have this friend, and she's in her 70s, and she's been buying and selling real estate throughout her whole entire life. And she's used the same agent throughout her whole entire life. She's probably done 12 transactions, let's just say in 40 years with this woman. And I love this woman. I can't say her name. I'm just going to say I love her. So she says to me one day, because she's been a supportive person in my corner, in my business. And we were talking about something, and she said, Jessica, this is what's going to make you a successful agent. And this is what drives me to work with this very woman who's a specific agent, is that she's not pushy. She's so natural. She sort of gives a little, I share more, and she goes above and beyond. So she's like, my husband and I was like, I want to be in this neighborhood. I want to be in this neighborhood. I want to be in this neighborhood. And she's like, she was driving around one day, and she was like, that is Kay's house. She knocked the door and said, I have a buyer. That weekend they put in an offer.
I love that.
So when she told me this story, I get like tears and chills at the same time. And she's like, Jessica, that's what makes me want to use an agent, is that that they go above and beyond, but they get me.
Yeah.
They get me.
Yeah.
They're not just like, I want to live in the Palisades on a flat lot at $10 million. They're like, why do you want to live in the Palisades? What part do you want to live in the Palisades? What does the house look like? She's like, that's why I've been using this woman for almost 40 years. And you guys have such a connection to going above and beyond, and it has shown up in your business.
Thank
and I want to
you.
just ask about this before we wrap, which is, I'm very into like manifestation and like energy. I'm very into energy.
We're so glad you're bringing
So
this
it's
up.
like you guys are into Kabbalah.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
what is something
Yes.
that where it has started
We
to show
are.
up in your business?
Oh my God, every day.
Literally every day. Yeah. And we're
Every
so
day.
glad you're bringing up spirituality, because we do feel that a lot of what we do is guided by higher power and connected to source energy. And like a lot of what we do is also based on certainty, based on faith, based on gratitude. We are so grateful, consistently grateful. And there's moments where there's challenges. Again, it's like not a straightforward business. There's moments where there's challenges, and we take moments to pause. Like there's lots of moments where a deal could fall through, or everything could collapse, or the seller's having remorse, or
Or the
buyer's
agent's
just
being really mean.
yes. And we together will put each other in check
Yeah.
of like, this is a moment to pause because we're on the brink of a breakthrough, or like, this is the moment to have certainty in the faith that is our foundation of everything. And we're lucky that we have families that are also like very supportive in that mindset. Like I know that our parents both keep us in track, like have certainty, have faith, and stick to the course. And there's moments where everything seems like it's going to fall apart, and next thing you know, the greatest thing happens because we stick to that faith and we keep each other in check when someone's falling
We
off.
really do. Like if
Yeah.
we have been working, imagine you're working your absolute butt off.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure a certain sale goes through. You don't know, you're walking into people's lives. There's certain reasons why certain people are selling or buying, as you said, the 4Ds. 5Ds, sorry. And you really, I think for us it's all about people, so you do naturally get really excited when you're like, yes, we're in multiples or this, and then we'll talk to each other and actually, you know what, let's just stay neutral.
100%.
And we're always trying to come from a place of giving, and it's that's huge.
Huge, because things are always at a turning point where you could come from a receiving place, like I want this to go through,
Or maybe they're developing something else, and you know that like if you do this, maybe that, but actually you can't focus on that. You've got to be like, right, what can I do that is absolutely best by this client at this moment in time, and stay really, really neutral. And I think that the Kabbalah has really helped us integrate more of a calm and serene approach in keeping everybody around you calm, be it your client, be it the buyer's agent that you're doing the deal with, or the buyer that's coming to you with your listing, the seller. Just keeping neutral and keeping everyone calm and doing what's best for everyone. And then that way we find very often it all naturally comes together by going with this spiritual approach.
And the higher power is in the pause.
My God. We pause all the time.
The pause is the moment that a power that's greater than you comes in to take care of the process. But you have to pause.
You can't react.
And it can be so hard
and
at times.
I love this. I could talk about this all day, but it's so funny. I have to like turn on the real estate. I got to turn on the luxury. I have to turn on this. And it's like when I get to do this stuff, I'm like, oh, I get to like talk about the thing that I love to. But you draw to you that what you are.
100.
So if you are abundance and love and energy and giving and forgiving, then you will draw 100%. Experiences into your life. You draw to you experiences into your life, but it has to like start. And I totally blanked on something that I wanted to say on that regard, which is, I find out people's birthdays. I find out about people. And I give people crystals. No. When I go to meetings,
really?
I do handwritten. So I do
like
handwritten thank you cards.
That's so
I
nice.
don't do. I do emails, but I do handwritten cards.
Wow.
I find out something. I go to a specific crystal store. I'm very intentional. I don't just buy you a crystal. I buy you something that's either aligned with something that's going on in your life right now.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Or I know something about you. Maybe you've healed from something, or you want love, or I know their birthday, and I buy them a crystal
Wow.
that is intentional to them specifically. It has to be them.
That's beautiful.
Glenn,
I
If
love
they
that.
like
love
blue,
it.
I know. You know, I'm so glad that you guys came on. I feel like I need to have a part 2.
Let's do it.
I ask all my guests 3 questions before they leave. What is a non-negotiable in your morning routine that sets you up for the day?
Ooh. Oh, wait. Yes.
Wait, I know what you're going to say with me.
What am I going to say?
Well, you say what you want with you, but you know. I know it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Well, either do you want to say it at the same time, or do you want to say what it is? What is it?
Okay, well, one is a morning workout. That's for sure.
Huge,
Both
huge.
of us, we need to get our mind going, our bodies going, and just get in the zone of our own time to ourselves.
Yes.
Another one that we found to be really helpful that I think is of great value, affirmations.
Okay.
Like the I am affirmations.
Yes.
Do you want to dive into that?
Sure. But yes, completely took the words out of my mouth
Yeah.
with the first one, morning routine.
For sure.
You have to give to yourself before you can give to others. And the day just plays out that bit differently when you give to yourself in the morning and you get everything out in a workout.
Yeah.
Ideally early when the phone isn't ringing.
Yeah.
And yes, with the affirmations before we go to bed and before when we wake up, especially when a deal's going on as well, we do the affirmations, and that's huge. And the gratitude part.
Yeah.
I think gratitude, we always give gratitude, and we do say thank you. Like even when Adriana cooks me, we're like, thank you for the partnership.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this client. Thank you so much for this deal. Thank
Yeah.
you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Just to work together on this, and we have so much certainty this is going through. So yeah,
We even do realtor affirmations.
we do. We do that.
Yeah.
Is that TMI?
No, but like there are
Really?
like, on YouTube, for example.
What's a realtor
There's like
realtor
a
affirmation?
there are like YouTube.
We'll
Just
send
one.
you. We'll send you it.
What's
We'll send
one?
you it.
It's
It's a whole
like-
podcast. We'll send it to you.
One
one?
affirmation for a realtor.
What's one? Like I bring so much I bring so much value to my clients.
Great.
Or like I am a very successful entrepreneur, or like anything where you know you affirm
Yes.
what you are or what you want to be.
Yes.
It just programs your mind to take time during the day to feel that. So we've both found it to be so helpful for us.
You're manifesting your future, and your mind plays so many tricks on you. Even when shit hits the fan and things are going wrong,
You can curse.
you can be like, oh, I can curse. It's not very British of me. I don't think mum and dad would be very happy.
It's okay.
No, it's a British lady. Okay. But like, even when something goes wrong, right? There are so many times something goes wrong, and Adriana will call me in the middle of a deal. Bianca, this just happened. I'm like, or I'll tell her. Adriana will be like, what a pleasure. And we have David Guillaume to thank for this. He's our Kabbalah teacher and a Kabbalah mentor to us. And he has been fantastic. If you ever want to flip the switch, as David says, join Kabbalah 1 and he will teach you how to not react, which is super easy to do in this game because everyone's got, you know, you can get in the way of your own deal. You can react and you can
100%.
completely mess up the deal. But if, you know, he's taught us so much.
That's why sometimes if it's not, like sometimes that pause is you not responding right away, is letting the other person respond first. If you responded, wait till an answer.
Yeah, and it's so hard because the challenge is relative to what you're going through. It's always like relative to you.
Yeah.
Like someone else's challenge probably wouldn't affect you the same way. So it's always relative. So it's easier said than done. But I think just saying what a pleasure and trying to not be reactive energetically in the moment. Like, oh, the deal's falling through. What a pleasure, you know.
You can be
and
just having certainty,
And what is a piece of advice or suggestion you can give to someone on their daily routine, their business, or their relationship?
Mm-hmm. I think pausing is amazing for everyone because how many times can you be so angry at that person? You can. If you're angry at your partner, who I love dearly, we want sometimes to kill each other. I love you. Yeah. But or your boyfriend, or mom, or your dad. But if you pause, the chances are 9 times out of 10, and you have a good night's sleep, the next day you might have calmed down. But it's the same with the client that you're passionate about. So you're asking, what would you give? So that's the relationship advice: the pause and waking up the next day, just coming to that situation in a better mindset. And that would work as well if you're doing a deal as a real estate agent. And also just to kind of have faith and be consistent. And it's a tough job. It's a commission job. You eat what you kill what you eat. And it's very hard when you're not on a salary, and it's very, very
You guys
hard.
are talking about love, and now you're killing.
You know what's really funny is like Bianca and I, we have similar thoughts, and it's really bizarre. Like I just had deja vu you saying that, of me trying to figure out what that phrase is. And we have moments where her and I both will be thinking the same thing, and one of us will say it out loud, and we're like, yeah. So it's just being like in a partnership, especially being in alignment and just being there for each other, and we kind of like keep each other going. So,
and what are 3 qualities peers would say about you?
Peers.
Fun.
Energetic.
And ambitious.
Okay.
Can we say 4?
And persistent. What
Passionate.
Ooh, passionate's a good one. Okay, we'll keep going. Just stop us.
Competitive. If you tell us no,
affirmations make you have a real. Just kidding. Make you really confident and loving yourself. Thank you, girls, for coming on here. Where can people find you? Plug yourself.
Well, my Instagram is at Bianca Fields Real Estate. Bianca like white. Bianca Fields like farm green. Real estate. And
mine's real estate Adriana, because the one without the period was taken.
Okay.
And Adriana Yedidsion. So we're trying to be active on Instagram. So come follow us there.
I know. Thanks for inviting us. This will help.
Of course. Thanks, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you. You can follow the podcast. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.